Why is it difficult for many teachers to test listening? We have handled that together.
Because they can't see it.
Yes, that's right, Ms. Asma, thank you. And we have discussed the role of the brain and what happened to the mechanism of your brain while you are listening. And we gave some definitions for listening. What are the types of listening? Listening for gist, listening for specific information, listening for detail, listening for inferred meaning, and listening for attitude. You remember all that? Task types for assessing listening, multiple choice questions, yes, Mr. Abdulkaim, no perfect rules. Yes, no perfect rules. About what? About what, Mr. Abdulkaim? Could you clarify it? Okay. Go back to the presentation, true or false questions, gap filling, dictation, the old-fashioned one, old-fashioned activity or technique, integrated tasks, short answer questions, and using the ICT. Anybody of you tried the site I gave you last session? Have you tried it after that?
Welcome, Mr. Elya.
We are having a quick overview for the last session.
So, English.
Anybody have tried the Voice of America, the Learning English?
Or English. Yes.
Okay, let's start the session of today, assessing writing. Are all of you ready for that? Assessing writing. If you have any comment and you cannot tell us in the phone, you can write or type in the chat. Okay, so let's start our session for today. We are going to discuss assessing writing. Okay, so our question here is, why do we write? Why do we write? What are the purposes of writing? What pushes you to write? How could you push your students or motivate your students to write? Okay, let's have some brainstorming for that. You have two methods to answer me on the chat, or you can speak up if you'd like to. Why do we write? Or I can ask you, when do we write? What's the reasons that make us write something? What are the kinds of writing? You can think of the question, one of these. Okay, we have Mr. Abdeldaim. We write to communicate. Okay, we write to communicate because writing is one method to communicate with each other or with one and other people. So this is a very big title. What else? Why we write? What the reasons? What do you write? If you want your students to write something, what would you ask them to write? Anybody? هو العيد ده ما فيهوش لحمة. بقول يمكن كلته لحمة والجسم همد. مش مشارك النهارده ولا ايه؟ ولا البيتيفور يا مستر عبد الدايم؟ رد علينا وقول حاجة. البيتيفور في سمنة بلدي ولا ايه عنديكم؟ مستر عبد الدايم صحيح الراجل رد اهو قال we write to communicate, we write to understand others and know the levels of our students. Amazing. This is why we assess writing. ده كمان مستر عبد الدايم answered another point here. Assessing writing. So Mr. Abd al-Daim said, we write to communicate, we write to understand others and know the levels of students. Amazing, good answer. Okay. So, we have many kinds of writing. Number one is descriptive writing. What is descriptive writing? Descriptive writing creates a picture of a person, thing, or level. A good description works with all of the senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. So when you ask your students to write a descriptive writing, you can give them some titles like describe your school, or give them a title for a paragraph of writing, for example, like your daily life. So the student here can describe when he wake up and everything, and what the students do when he goes to school and after that and during the school day. This is a descriptive writing. Or writing about friends. The student can describe his friends, give some descriptions of their behavior and how they look like and so on. All these things student could write about activity, and descriptive writing is the only type of writing which can be and should be used in all other forms: expository, narrative, writing, and later on our presentation, we will discuss each one of these kinds of or types of writing. This is number one, descriptive writing. So first,
Please, I didn't hear anything before the descriptive writing.
can you hear me now?
Yes.
So Miss Hannah, you didn't miss anything before you get in. We were discussing or having some overview about what we had in the last session, okay? So this is first or second slide in our presentation. Okay, so follow up with us. Number one,
Yes.
descriptive writing. And as you see in this slide, descriptive writing creates a picture of person, place, thing, or event. A good description work with all of the senses: sight, smell, taste, touch, hearing. Number two, writing journal. Could you tell me what's the meaning of writing journal or what we do in writing journal? What's writing journal?
I think it means a report, writing a report
Writing
or events.
a report for events. Yes, that's it. That's right. Writing journal is writing our daily life, the events during our day. You can write down the things to do in your day. You can write some of your achievements, what you achieve every day. You can write down it, the events, the good events, the accidents, the bad events, anything happens in your day, you can write it down in your journal, or you can call it diary or log, um, as you like to name this kind of writing. So writing a journal could be daily routine, to-do list, and your daily achievements. Okay? Third kind of writing, and I think this is one type of the writing that the students like to do, persuasive writing. Persuasive writing, kind or type of writing can you hear me? It's a kind of writing that you persuade the people to buy a certain product, like 7-Up, for example, some drinks, or some food like chips and so on. You would like to the people buy this product, so you can write some sentences or phrases that persuade them to buy it, and you can put the picture for the students and ask them to put some sentences or phrases as a propaganda for this product. So could anybody read the sentences on this picture? This is an advertisement. Could anybody read the sentences?
The fresh up family drink.
Thank you, Miss Asma. The fresh up family drink. And on the right side?
Persuasive writing.
Yes.
On the right side, yeah.
Yes, read it, please.
You like it likes you.
You like it.
You like it. It likes you.
So what kind of sentences are these?
Advertisement.
This is advertisement or persuasive sentences. Do your students like to do such activity? Is it attractive for the students, the primary students? Is it attractive for them? Would they like to make these sentences on a poster as a persuasive writing or advertisement? What's your opinion? Is it attractive?
I think yes.
Yes, it's attractive. Students
yes.
like, yes, the students like to do such a fun, such interesting technique for them. So the persuasive writing could be advertisement or persuasive essay, convincing others to your opinion. If you have a certain opinion and you'd like to persuade the others with this opinion, you can write a paragraph or an essay to persuade them. The fourth type of writing, narrative writing. Could you tell me what is a narrative writing? What is
like telling stories?
Yes, like writing.
Writing stories.
Yeah, that's right. Thank you. Awesome. Narrative writings like writing a story, writing a novel, writing a poem. So poetry, writing a story or a novel, writing a poster. This is a poster. The students can write a poster. This is a fun for them, something interesting. But writing a story, they can write some short stories or some innocent tries, some innocent attempts, primitive ones. You can praise them for writing these short stories, even if it's not perfect. And some primitive poems. And also you can praise them and motivate them in this young ages of the primary stage. So narrative writings could be poetry, posters, novels, stories, and short stories. The fifth one, you are supposed to tell me, not me, okay? The fifth one, I think you know it well. So fan fiction is one kind of writing. Who can tell me what is the fan fiction? Who are the good guys of today's session? الشطار فين؟
It is yes, mister.
Yes.
Yes. Writing that continues, interprets, reimages, or just riffs on stories
Awesome.
and characters other people have already read about.
Thank you, Ms. Asma. Amazing. Fan fiction, as we discussed on a previous session, is rephrasing or rewriting a story or a short story from your own perspective, from your own point of view. You can take the story and retell it from the opinion of a certain character. You can change the events as you like. Um, as as the character you like, you can pick one character and change the events that surround this character as you like. So the students like such an amazing kind or interesting kind of activities like fan fiction. Washback. Washback is a very important thing in teaching, and maybe all of us as Egyptian teachers suffer from this washback. Anybody have idea about washback? What is washback? You can use the chat and write yes or no. Have an idea about this or no? If you have an idea about washback, type yes, no, Miss Asma, no. Who else? Just type yes or no. Have you ever heard about washback? Miss Asma, no. مين تاني صاحي معايا؟ ومين اللي مشغل السيشن وقاعد في وادي تاني؟ Miss Hannah, no. It's a new topic. Okay. Who's else? Miss Louise, yes or no? No. Miss Louise, no. Okay. So, washback, take care of this, okay, and pay attention. It's very important. When we teach in our classrooms, we teach, I'll not tell you, just you tell me, what's the most important thing for us in our classes as Egyptian teachers? Tell me what's the most important. Tell me or write to us. Type in the chat or tell us what's the most important thing. What's the most important thing you teach in your class? Grammar, Miss Hannah, thank you. It's grammar. Anybody has another answer? In your opinion, is there something more important than grammar we teach in the class? I think all of us take care of grammar the most. Why we do that? Because grammar is the most important thing in the exam. So we count the exam. The exams are the most important things for us and the students, not the learning, not the learning inside the classrooms. Learning is not our own objectives or our high objectives. Our big objective is the, the most important thing is the exam, not the learning process itself. So washback is the influence of testing on teaching and learning. It can be positive or negative. Positive washback encourages language learning. Washback, as I said, is looking mainly or basically to the exam. When you teach in your class, you think about the exam. Your students think about the exam and they can say to you, hey teacher, will this be in the exam? Yes, it's okay. So we practice it. Won't, won't it come in the exam? So please stop and give us something important. Give us some exercises of the exam. We call this washback. So the washback is the influence, the effect of the exams on your teaching in the classroom and the influence of
ايه
the
يا حسن؟
exam on the kind of exercises the student like to practice before getting their exams at the end. This is the washback. How can the washback be positive? Could you tell me? How can the washback be positive? The washback could be positive when test preparation activities are the same as language learning activities. For example, doing a pair word speaking activity before a speaking test. Positive washback encourages language learning. Okay, so now reflect on your own testing system. Does the test system lead to a positive or negative washback and why? Think with me and tell me. Okay, reflect means brainstorm with me, think with me. Your testing system, does the testing system lead to positive or negative washback? Anybody? احنا قلنا الووش باك ان انت وشغال في ال teaching inside the classroom you think about the test. لو كان التست at the end of the year في speaking يبقى انت will teach speaking. لو ما فيهوش the students will stop you. Please teacher don't give us speaking activities because it's not in the exam. This is the influence or the effect of the exam on the teaching inside the classroom. This is very important point. خد بالك لو سمحت من البوينت دي لأنها very important واكتشفنا إن هي اللي بتأثر تأثير كبير على applying the modern methodology in our classrooms. Are you agree with me?
Yes.
Okay. So لو قلنا إن النظام بتاعنا هل positive ولا negative؟ For me myself, it somehow depends on the teacher. يعني التيتشر هو اللي يقدر يخلي الوش باك positive في إن هو inside the classroom apply the modern methodology even if it's not in the exam. You teach your students for learning, not only for the
Depends on the
again, Mr. Abday.
Depends on the clinic. Do you know?
Depends.
Private lessons.
Depends on what? I can't hear you well.
Private lessons.
The private lessons, I think the private lessons only a training for the students to the exams. لكن احنا بنتكلم عن
Yes.
هو البرايفت lessons انت بيجي لك الطالب علشان خاطر just to train him or her on the exams to get very good marks. لكن teaching in the classroom it's very different because you teach the students to get some skills.
Okay. بس المدرس اللي هو بيشتغل على الدروس الخصوصية بيفرق ما بين في المدرسة بيبقى فيه فرق شوية في الاعتمادات بتاعت يعني ايه التستنج الاختبارات.
اوكي ما هو رايح له الطالب علشان just to train the student for the exam but teach just 2 hours a week. لكن inside the classroom it's a whole week, a whole day, 8 in the morning till 2 afternoon. You have a very long time to train your students to learn, not only to pass the exam. ناخد بالنا ان البرنامج هيفصل دلوقتي علشان نرجع ندوس على نفس اللينك لان اللي جاي شيء مهم. It's very important to know the task types for assessing writing. Okay?
Okay.
Okay.
فلغاية ما يفصل ويشتغل think about the task types for assessing writing. Task types for assessing writing. انت هتخلي الولاد يشتغلوا writing activity وانت هتعمل لهم measuring او deciding their level. So what are the task types